Hello everyone, welcome to my very first video tutorial. This is the effect we are going to be making, the 3D freeze frame effect as seen in the CorridorDigital video Photoreal. I'm going to show you how to set up this effect, and you will have to do all the polishing and tweaking, because otherwise this video will get too long, but I'll show you the basic principle of setting up this effect. It shouldn't be too difficult. If you're new to my channel, my name is Eddie. As you can no doubt hear from my accent, I am from the Netherlands. And as I said, this is my very first video tutorial, so please bear with me. Let's start. We start by importing our footage, dragging it into the new comp button. And there we have it. And now we're going to track the camera. For this you can go to track camera, or in the effects and presets go to perspective 3D camera tracker, drag it onto your footage. I'll let this analyze and I'll get back to you when this is done. The camera tracker has done its job. As you can see, we have some nice tracking points here. Now you need to determine where the camera makes a turn in your footage to film the backside of your imaginary freeze frame. Now, like here where the camera is moving, this is where we need to place our freeze frame. Conveniently, and there's a little yellow flower in the grass here, just here. And this is where I need to place my layer, so I need to make a null at that location. So I'm going to select some tracking points here, hold down shift and lasso around a few points. You can now move the little target area onto the place where you want the null. So I want it here, and now I right click and choose create a null and a camera, and there it is. Okay, now that we have our null here, we can proceed. I've changed the name of the footage to the background. This is the layer that holds the camera tracking data, and we can now pull in the same instance of our video onto layer 3 and rename this freeze frame. Go to the point in time in the timeline where you want it to appear and set the in point. This is where our layer will appear. Go to layer time freeze frame. Okay. Now make it a 3D layer and holding down shift, pick whip this layer to the null. Now we have the layer lying flat on the ground. We need to rotate it up again. So take the rotate tool and rotate it so it faces the camera. Okay, make it a bit bigger. Now we're going to drag the corner pin effect onto this. So type corner and take distort corner pin, drag it onto your layer. Now you have to drag the corner pins to the outer points of your composition, like here. Just do it crudely at first, and then we'll do it a bit more accurate in a minute. Okay. Zoom in. press Shift question mark to realign it. Okay, now we need to crop the layer. So I've linked in the doobly-doo to a free plugin for cropping. You can do this with the linear wipe effect, but I like this plugin, so we're going to use this plugin, and it's free. So drag that onto your freeze frame layer. Now lower the opacity of your background a bit, otherwise you can't see what you're doing. Okay, the feather crop, the crop needs to be above the corner pin effect. Very important. Now we're going to crop to the portion we want to use as our freeze frame. Now turn the opacity back up. And let's do a RAM preview and see what we've got so far. Okay, it's pretty good. There's almost no drift in this one, a little bit here. But we can correct for drift by adjusting the bottom and the side of our crop. So I'm pulling in the right a bit onto the edge of the road here. Make the bottom a bit. Lower. And let's check again. Okay, there's still a bit of drift. You'll have to do this yourself. It takes too much time for me to explain this in this tutorial. But just tweak your freeze frame layer with the cropping tool until the drift is gone. This should be easy enough to do. You can turn on motion blur now if you want for this layer. I'm not going to because it takes more time to render. Okay, now the effect is practically set up. So now we're going to expand on it by making it look like glass once we have passed the layer. Now go to the point in time where your layer is almost invisible. Like here is where it flips over. So I set the out point of this layer to here. And I'm going to copy this layer. Ctrl D. Should have done this before. Check. Okay, set it to here. Now set the in point of your copy to the out point of the original. Rename this layer freeze frame flip side, because this is the flip side. Okay. Now change the transfer mode to darken. This will make it see-through. Okay. Now we're going to make this into a displacement map. So I'm going to duplicate this layer by typing Ctrl D. Excuse me. I'm going to put the tint effect on this. We need displacement maps to be black and white. So pull the tint effect onto your copy. This needs to be normal. Okay. Now we're going to pre-compose this layer. But first, rename it displacement map. Go to Layer, Pre-compose, move all attributes, and type OK. Okay, now it looks all wonky, doesn't matter. Make it a 3D layer once again, and check the Collapse Transformations button, and now it's back in place. Now make sure to set the endpoint of this layer to the same point as our freeze frame. Okay. Now duplicate the background layer, Ctrl D. Delete the camera tracker effect from this layer, we don't need it. And put the First we're going to pull this layer down to the bottom position and turn it off. Okay, we don't need it. We don't need to see it. Go to our copy and type CC glass. Pull the CC glass effect onto your background copy. Okay. Open the effect up. Set the bump map to our displacement map layer. Now you see it only displaces the part of the video we see through the freeze frame. Let's check what it looks like. Set property to luminance and tweak the effect. This looks better. And there you have it. The layer has turned into glass. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. Well, that concludes this tutorial. For further information about this effect, I recommend the blog post I made about this. The link is down below in the doobly-doo. Check that out. It has more detail about this effect and some suggestions on building it out and making it more awesome. So check that out, and thank you for watching.